I had problems with my BeLive broadcasting app. I don't suggest anybody buy that. I've had nothing but problems with it. Hi, Bobby. To bring in Bobby on the Facebook Live. How you doing? How you doing, Bobby? These guys are from Schenectady, New York. Hi, Timothy. How are you, brother? This is another one of those frustrating events. Dang. It's not giving me the option to add you, Bobby. Is there a green guy down there you can hit? Green circle. Hi, Shannon. How are you? Trying to improvise. If this doesn't work tonight, we'll do it tomorrow night. How are you? Great job on the Never Alone video challenge. You did phenomenal. Thank you for doing that. Thank you very much. Now, well, I have some of y'all's attention. Next Sunday, I have as my guest Gerald Valley. He goes by G on the professional skateboarding circuit. He will be my guest next week. He is a professional skateboarder, X-Game competitor, motivational speaker, life coach, and a man in recovery. He hails from Detroit, Michigan, and it's going to be a phenomenal interview. He's got a great philosophy on life. He's dealt with injuries throughout his skateboarding career, and we're going to talk about how he overcome his addiction and his injuries without the use of opioids, which will be amazing testimony. Hi, Travis. Bobby, I can't get you on. I don't know. Hi, Fat Pat. I love you, brother, man. I'm sending up prayers and for you and your family. Prayers for healing, man. I love you, man, for real. Bobby, can you request to join the video? Everybody, I can get everybody on here except for you. Joe Turner. Hi, Brittany. How are you? Hi, Jamie. I'm trying to add Bobby Stacks to the video. It is not allowing me to. So, hi, Britt. I love you too. Bobby, is there a button right there at the bottom of your... You have to turn your phone sideways. And there should be a button, a green silhouette of a person. Hit that and request to join the video. I can add anybody but you. There's a lot of live feeds going on right now. So maybe this is not meant to be right now. Hi, Chad Gentry. How are you, brother? It's good to see you in here. Hi, Christina. Nice 6 years clean from heroin. Congratulations. That's amazing. Love you, Joe. Love you, buddy. Bobby, can you request to join the video? The green button at the bottom. Boom, boom, boom over here. Hi, Christina. I'm trying to get my guest on here first. I would love to have you on here. Love you, Jamie. Hi, Bradley. Aaron, I love you. Thank you. Hi, Brad McLeod. It's nice to see you on here. Yeah, I got Christina Williams. Bobby, I don't know what to say. You're not even on my options anymore. Notso, can you request to join? Fat Pat, for sure. Please, on my personal Facebook page, I put up a GoFundMe for Fat Pat to support him and his family. His daughter is dealing with cancer right now. We need to come together and support our brothers and families that are going through trying times. And this is just one example of what unity can be about in our community. Here I am. I got my earbuds in and they're not plugged in. Hi, Betty. How are you? Bobby's not even on here. Bobby's not even on here anymore. Okay, let's bring on Christine and say hi to her. Bobby has never done a live feed before. There's Bobby Notso. Bring Bobby Notso on camera. Okay, we're gonna bring on Bobby. Maybe we're not. Guest declined. Let's do it again. Hi everybody. Hi everybody. Hi Fatih. How are you? It's good to see you in here, bro. Chris Brown, how are you? There you go.
Hi.
There we go. We have a connection. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, Ken, I'm gonna put my son on.
Okay.
What's up?
Can you guys put it back a little bit? Try to get both you guys in there at the same time. There you go.
Do this somehow.
We're gonna pull this off one way or another, man. Stacks and Notso in the house.
We're in the house, baby.
How you doing?
Shout out and respect to Higgy, man.
Thank
you for having us on.
You know, the last couple weeks we've had some really good conversation. I've gotten to know you guys pretty well. You know, well enough to know that I know you guys' hearts are in the right place. You guys have overcome some dark pasts. You've suffered some tragic losses, and I want to give you guys the opportunity to tell people what the Stop the Epidemic is about, why, what the mission is, and who are you trying to memorialize with us?
All right. Well, Stomp the Epidemic it's something that kind of found us. You know, it all started with doing a rest in peace song for my little brother Joshua, who passed away from a heroin overdose mixed with fentanyl at 23 years old. We lost him July 15th, 2015. It feels like it was yesterday.
I'm so sorry for your loss. And he passed away after relapsing, correct?
He had 111 days clean. Our mom, who was 45 years old, she actually was suffering from alcoholism, and she ended up getting cirrhosis, and she had a 4 or 5 month period of just total being tortured, and she ended up dying June 3rd when my brother was he was 111 days clean. Man. And that's what pushed him over the edge to go back to the dope.
I'm so sorry to hear that, and that's a common theme these days when people relapse and believe that they got one more run in them, or they're just going to use one time. The consequences can be so tragic.
That's the biggest thing, and that's kind of the heart and soul of our mission. It started off, the original idea was if we could just, save one person with this, it would make my brother's death not be in vain. And it's something that it's tearing our country apart. It's tearing the moms, the dads apart, the brothers, the siblings, the friends. There's just one person dies, so many people are affected by it.
That's right.
It's just a total butterfly effect, hey?
That's right. That's right.
No parent should ever have to bury their child.
That's right.
That's one thing you never should have to live through, and I live with that every day, and I'll mourn my son for the rest of my days.
He's right behind us, actually. His little tribute's right there, his ashes. But, my 23-year-old, forever 23-year-old brother is part of this interview, but just in a different way.
He's an angel now. He's an angel now, looking down upon you guys. This is.
I believe that.
He's a guiding light for you guys. with your mission.
I'll tell you, Higgy,
My
and
motivation.
if I could tell this quick story, and this, I swear to God on my kids. 2 quick stories. After my mom passed away, this was my first strange experience where I knew that they were trying to communicate and let me know that, there's life after death and it's all real. I was laying in bed with my wife and I had my 1.5-year-old daughter in between us. And it was dark in the room and I was tearing up a little bit thinking about my mom. She just passed away. And my 1.5-year-old daughter turned over, Hig, and wiped the tears from my eye.
Oh,
And as she did that, she hugged me and she squeezed the life out of me, and I felt chills go down my spine. And as the tears kept pouring, she just kept wiping them away. And I honestly felt, Hig, like that was my mother hugging me through my daughter. And about a month later, after my brother died, I'm laying in that same bed with just my wife at that time. And again, tears trickling, and we brought Josh's name up and we were talking about him. And across the room, a light switch actually turned on, and it went from
wow.
a completely dark room to total light. And
Wow.
obviously, my wife was scared at the time. She jumped over. She's jumping on me like a grizzly bear, hugging me. But
That's good stuff.
I
That's
knew
good
it was
stuff.
my little girl letting us know that he's still with us. So anybody that's lost any relatives or anything like that, the only thing I could say is they will let you know on their time, but just keep your faith strong and keep believing in God, and you will see them again.
Yeah.
Amen. Amen to that. And that's a common theme with families that have lost loved ones like that. They believe that they get visited from time to time, and there are signs and things that happen. Things get moved. Things. Odd incidences happen like that. But I want to give you guys props and give you a lot of respect because as a father and son, the things you are doing to raise awareness, to give people hope, given your past and how you've transformed your lives and turned your life over to God and help your community, and what you do through music is just icing on the cake, man. I got a lot of respect for you for doing that because I'm a father that was separated from his son as well, and through the process of recovery, we've established our bond, and we have a great relationship today. Anyone out there that doesn't have a relationship with their children or their parents at this time, just know that it is possible. There are people like ourselves that do reconnect and regain that bond again.
Yeah, true.
So you guys both have a history. I like for Notso to you're the senior member here. To tell us a little bit about where you came from and how you turned your life around to doing the things you do right now.
I'll tell you, I know what it's like to have some darkness in my past with addiction and some of the choices I made. And unfortunately, there's always a little bit of guilt that I'm always going to live with, when it comes to my son's passing. Even though I didn't give him dope or stick a needle in my son's arm, I feel like maybe something along the way I could have done different. I think parents live with that guilt,
Survivor's
when
guilt
they
for
have,
sure.
a child, go astray or pass away.
Mm-hmm.
But I know what I'm doing now, I'm committed to, and I'm going to do this in my son's memory and any other son or daughter's memory I can for somebody.
Absolutely.
I'm going to fight strong to help.
So coming from the
with all
dark
my
past,
heart.
coming from the dark past that you have, how is it that you came to have a faith in a higher power or God, and put you on this path that you're on?
Well, I'll tell you, I go back, I was an altar boy. I raised like an Irish Catholic kid, had to go to catechism on Saturday morning, miss cartoons and do all of that good stuff. And I didn't really care for it. And I didn't realize, I kind of drove me away from some of the things that, we try to teach our kids, go to church and all of those things. Well, I kind of, went the opposite way. My father, I think, pushed me a little hard and I ended up going the other way.
Sure.
But what made me come back, I don't think I ever really gave up my faith. I think I just didn't utilize it like I should have.
That's right.
And now I pray daily. My faith is stronger than it's ever been. I hope I show that through my actions. Words are words. I try to live every day committed to my faith and faith in other people. I believe in people. I believe people are genuinely good. And it's just a matter of bringing out the best in them. I believe in opening doors for people. Eventually you'll hear thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to continue to do so, even if somebody doesn't say it then. I believe you impact people's life by, your actions.
Absolutely.
And so.
Absolutely. God's working through you guys for sure, and spreading the message of hope. Bobby, can you tell us a little bit about your past and your struggles with addiction?
I will tell you about my past. I kind of grew up. I grew up quick. I was wise beyond my years at too young of an age, but I had good parents. My mother, an Italian woman who believed in family and believed in love and showing compassion for people and empathy for people, and she really had a heart of gold. But she had a serious drinking problem, and my mom would escape her pains and her demons through a bottle of vodka a day. And I remember being 5, 6, 7 years old, going on wild goose chases, trying to find my mom's vodka bottle and finding it in the dog food and behind the toilet. And I got used to that and it became normal. And my parents, they had their issues. Ultimately, when I was 12 years old, we all made a collective decision that I was going to go live with my grandparents. And I went to live with my grandparents. My grandfather, A1 guy, taught me a lot of amazing things. Great person, honorable, genuine. But he ended up doing a prison bid for some racketeering charges and changing his life I was actually born the day he got out of prison on 9/11, the day he got out of prison. And his opportunity after that was restaurants.
You were born on 9/11?
I was born on 9/11. Hey,
wow.
It was a good birthday for the first 13 years. But
It's a good birthday.
My grandfather, he worked a lot, 7 days a week, old Italian guy, 70, 80, 90 hours a week. And my grandmother was a part of it too. So living with them, I got the opportunity to kind of spread my wings and go out and do my own thing. And I gravitated towards a crowd, that I shouldn't have been around at the age I was, but I don't regret, because it made me the person I am today. A lot of them are dead. A lot of them are in prison. Some of them have changed their life. But I mean, at 14 years old, I remember, doing drugs and doing cocaine at 14, 15, popping pills, ecstasy, getting into
Me too.
Getting into opiates, I remember going in my uncle's room when I was probably 14 or 15, and he was on a prescription of methadone and taking some of those and thinking that kind of thing was normal.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, the long road I went down, which was very long and very dark, I never got any happiness out of it. I was looking to escape and numb pain that was always there and never went away.
Mm-hmm.
And I turned to alcohol as well. And I look back, and from 14 to probably my younger 20s, there wasn't a day that I was sober. Not one goddamn day.
I believe that.
Whether I was doing, no matter what I was doing something.
Sure.
And I ended up meeting with after losing a lot of friends and ultimately realizing that that lifestyle was just dark and there was no happiness. I luckily bumped into a woman who loved me enough to kind of give me some guidance when I needed it and say, hey man, you're a little too wild. What the hell are you doing? You know, you don't
Thank
need
God.
to be doing that kind of stuff. And it made me want to be a better man. And little by little, I became a better man. I remember when I got her pregnant with our first child, I remember going out and filling out, 15 or 16 job applications because I didn't want my baby to be with a dad who didn't have a job.
Right.
And it was a week or two and I got a job. But what I was used to was being intoxicated off something. So for me, being sober, it wasn't normal. So
Mm-hmm.
I could work and go to be a functional addict to a sense. And it wasn't until my brother's death when I went down the darkest paths. And that's when I really got heavy into just trying to numb it any way I could.
I feel you.
And
That's what we all do. So
I'm thinking about it now, man. I've walked some dark roads, and
what were some of the consequences
you
what were some of your consequences that you faced while you were in active addiction?
consequences I faced were, Jesus, just not being yourself, not being able to treat the people around you that you love with that genuine energy that you want to give them because
Mm-hmm.
you're thinking about something else. Not
And
being able to go out of town because you're worried about not having enough of whatever you're doing
right.
to make it the whole trip.
That's right. We talked about that. Being chained to our neighborhood, not being able to leave. Not being able to have any kind of freedom. Being in a prison, but still walking the streets. Locked in that cell of addiction. Our choices are limited. On what we can do, who we could affiliate with, associate with, and there's always consequences to that lifestyle. There's a lot of darkness, right?
That's it. You're more susceptible to evil trying to get in your life when you're impaired, and that's the thing. It's always knocking on your door. When you're not sober, you don't have that same connection with God, and
Mm-hmm.
your choices are all fogged.
Right. Yeah, you were making music you've been actually making music for quite a long time. Just you were on the other side in the darkness making music.
I was making music. A real good friend of mine, he lives in the city now, but about 13 years old, his mom bought something it was called Acid Music Studio. And we had a computer mic and Acid Music Studio, and to us that was big time. And no matter what, after school, we made our way to his house so we could make music. And from then on, it just it was always there. Another friend of mine had a studio in his garage a couple years after that. And that was the spot to be, 24/7. Whenever I wasn't in school, I was over at that studio. But like you said, the music that I was making was about the lifestyle that I was into, the things I idolized, and I realized later on, I'm not going to glamorize something that doesn't bring somebody peace or happiness. I'm not going to be part of the problem anymore. I'm not going to can't sleep at night knowing that what I'm putting out there, some 14-year-old kid who was just as influenceable as I was, might resonate with them, and they think, damn, that's a good idea. Let me go do that if they're teetering. I don't want my music thing to push somebody over the edge anymore to something bad. I'd like to push them over the edge to something good.
That's right.
Something that's going to take them where they need to go.
Awesome. Notso, you've been making music too for a while, right? You were in a band?
Yeah, I started way back in the early 80s and even beyond that, but I started writing poetry at a very young age, probably 10, 11, 12 years old. Started writing some poetry to get my thoughts out. Very therapeutic for anybody going through a tough time. Definitely write your thoughts down. You can reflect back upon them at any given time, and it will help you sort through a little bit of your life. It seems to be a lot of mine. I got literally thousands of writings, and I write every day. I got to write something down. I forget more now. I'm getting older now, Rick. So
I'm that guy too. I have to write stuff down.
I remember 50 years ago. I can't remember 5 minutes ago some days, but it's been good. My son, I live above my son and my grandchildren, and I'm very proud of what he's doing to help others, and it rekindled my spirit.
That's the thing too. People keep saying, and like we were talking about how this whole thing started. I put a couple songs out, to kind of keep my brother's name alive, and I started getting messages from people saying, "Hey, your music's helping me, man. I really can resonate with that," and it made me start questioning my lifestyle and maybe start wanting to change. And that's when we kind of both felt the obligation that we had to keep it going, and almost felt obligated to keep it going. But everybody's saying we're helping them. Let's not forget the fact that honestly, you're helping us.
That's
and
right.
You're keeping us wanting to, be them good guys and keep on the right path, and ultimately keep our brother and my brother's memory alive. That's important to me. I'm so sick. I hear an overdose almost every day now, Hig. And I know a lot of these names are going to be swept under the rug. But there's people like us that aren't letting that happen anymore. Nobody else's story is more important than mine is. It's just I happen to be making music right now, and I got a little more eyes on me.
You're making noise. That's what we need. We need people.
We need to be the voice for others. We need that person that's in that dark space, that dark hole, to know that there's light, and they can climb out of it, and they can change their life.
And it feels really good when you do.
And it feels wonderful when you do, and there's a lot of strength and unity amongst us. And there's more in common with them than they know. They just got to reach out and use the resources that are available.
That's right.
They'll meet a lot of good friends along the way that understand what they're going through.
Yeah, a lot of us have been down that similar path. So in watching, going through your music on your YouTube channel, I can see a progression from darkness to more inspirational, more God-centered, more positive message. I got to tell you, the letter to the drug dealer, man, really hits me in my gut and gives me that nauseated feeling. And your lyrics are so good and so on point that it's very powerful. What was it like to make that video?
I can only tell you when I came up with my verses and my thoughts on that song, it was coming from a dark place, like just as you stated. What my son does, he's a master at his words. I know nothing what he's doing. I come up with a beat or a hook. He just goes to town on it. You know, it's just the way we work together. But on that particular song, I had an awful lot of anger towards the drug dealer who sold my son ultimately that lethal bag of dope.
And you were planning,
was tainted with-
you were planning his demise at that time.
Oh, if I could have caught him in the first 2 years, I hunted that sucker everywhere I could. But by the grace of God, I didn't get him.
Now,
Because
if
I wouldn't be talking to you right now.
now,
We
if,
made that song, Hig, because that's how my dad was getting to a really scary spot. And honestly, if my dad didn't kill him on the song the way he did, I was nervous of what was going to happen.
right.
But I also felt that I said, you know, maybe something this dark could actually attract somebody that's that in that dark lifestyle. See, it's hard to take somebody right from the darkness to the light. I didn't want to go from dark to light.
Right.
It didn't work that way with me. You rejected it first. But you can lead somebody from the dark through the gray into the light.
If not, I want to be in their head. I want to be in that head of theirs. Then maybe they'll think twice about dealing that death to somebody else's kid.
Absolutely.
Okay? As we're talking right now, somebody's son or daughter, okay, is laying on a cold slab. That's the hardcore
Cold fact.
truth of it. You know, cold fact.
Hey, this dope has surrounded my family on so many levels, and I'm gonna clearly say I've never done dope. I've never stuck a needle in my arm. I have done other things. I did have issues with pills at different points. Luckily, I made it past. I made it back to the light, but not everybody does. And
That's
a lot
right.
of people graduate from that. And I'm not saying I'm stronger than anybody else, but certain people are more susceptible than others.
That's right.
And by the grace of God, he held me and he didn't take me fully down that path. But the thing is, my brother got a girl pregnant before he passed away, Hig. And that lady gave birth to my nephew. Okay? Beautiful little boy.
My grandson.
My son, I looked at him as a son, still do. I'm trying to honor my brother by being a part of his life. Okay, we actually took care of him for 8 months after his mom overdosed. So my brother was his dad who died. His mom overdosed, and while she overdosed, her other baby, a 13-month-old little girl, actually got a hold of the remnants of the dope while she was passed out and put it in her mouth and overdosed with it.
Wow.
Luckily, somebody at the scene was able to get EMS there, and Narcan was administered to both the baby and the mother.
It's
And
tragic.
she ended up going. She's doing really good now. She's actually in a program, and I'm happy for her. But everywhere I turn, I'm at work one day. I go to the bathroom. I find a guy passed out in the bathroom stall. I was with a guy. I was actually, luckily, the friend I was with was a volunteer firefighter and knew a little more than I did about how to revive somebody. But this guy was in his mid-30s, laying, vomiting, vomit coming out the side of his mouth, just laying passed out with his neck up against the toilet.
Wow.
My friend, we didn't have Narcan, so somebody actually there said, you know, go get alcohol pads, and we got cold water. There happened to be a fast food place, and I ran and got a big cup with ice and got cold water and ran it back and was dumping it on his face, and we were kind of slapping him to try to keep him alive till the medical got there. But when I looked at that guy, I seen my brother laying there.
Wow.
And I looked around and I seen a lot of people on the scene that didn't really give a shit. And a lot of people kept making the gestures and saying things to the effect that he did it to himself, and you'd ask them to go grab this for me. Can you go get me another alcohol pad? Can you fill the cup up? And people are walking, Hig, walking. People weren't running. There was only 2 of us that were actually running.
Wow.
And from that moment, I said to myself, I can't sit back and watch this.
Can't turn a blank stare.
I can't turn a blank stare to it and get to sleep at night.
That's right.
Luckily, the guy was revived. They got there within, I think, 12 or 15 minutes.
It's somebody's loved one.
And the kid's dad showed up and thanked me. And I'll never forget the look in his eyes.
You did a great thing. You know, you give that person another chance at life, a second chance he wouldn't have had otherwise. So you played a major role in somebody's life.
And the funny thing is, Hig, I don't even know the guy's name, but I guess it didn't matter.
No.
But I was there for the right time, and my buddy was there for the right time, and we decided to walk the way we walked. And I didn't even really have to go to the bathroom that bad. So it's just kind of a freak thing that we ended up going in there.
I believe God puts you in certain places at certain times, and to help people.
Absolutely.
If your heart's in the right place, you'll end up in many situations where you can help somebody. And I mean, I feel blessed every time I could do that. But if you're not looking for the data boys, the pat on the shoulders. We do those things because that's what we're supposed to do.
That's right.
We're supposed to help one another, brothers and sisters out there.
That's right.
Life is short, it really is. Look at my son, 23 years of age.
Especially when we have to look back at it, right? Life is short.
Oh, yeah. I feel like a young man in my mind.
Me too, bro.
But I am getting a little older.
Me too. So tell me about the song Slap That Vein.
Slap the Vein was actually, well, it was made in order to get people to listen, okay? Because when you're approaching a hip hop scene or a rap scene, especially when you're my age, I'm a rock and roller. My son's a rapper. We had to come up with something catchy in order to not just reach addicts, but we had to be able to reach the sellers as well.
Mm-hmm.
And when we went in and did that video, we actually went right into the heart of Schenectady in a very well-known area where dope is purchased and sold. The day we went to do that shoot, where we're standing out in front of a store, actually we had about 3 dope dealers approach our car to sell us bags. You wanted us. I says, no, I'm not here for that, but I am here to drop a video. Would you mind listening? And I happen to have this little pod, and I stood in the middle of about probably 20 or 30 people that were probably a part of their crew, played the song, and they're jamming to it. They're getting into it until the lyric came up, like to take a dope dealer hunting with Dick Cheney. When that came up, that part of the
you've seen the heads just totally start looking at each other, and they're like, what's going on here?
But we stood our ground. We stood our ground, and we stayed there. And by the grace of God, there was no conflict, and maybe we resonated in some of their brains, and maybe they.
You were saying you wanted to you want to get in their brains,
we do.
Yeah,
that's
because
it. This isn't just about getting addicts clean. This is about people just living the best life they can. This is about a dope dealer realizing that, he's coming from a place, maybe circumstances, the reason why he's where he is, and he looks at the things he looks at the way he does, and he could change too. If you want to hustle, you could go be a real estate guy. You could sell cars.
We have transferable skills for sure.
That's it. But a lot of people, they catch felonies when they're young, and they can't ever get a good job. So they're forced to keep coming back to this lifestyle. And ultimately, it's a vicious cycle. But there's always a way. You can start your own business. got to believe in yourself.
One day, the
That's right.
stuff that they're pushing and selling might come back to hit their kid
Or a loved
or
one.
their loved one.
Nobody's safe from it, Hig. And that's it.
No
Like,
one.
I guess maybe
No one.
I believe in the
Discriminate.
reticular activating system, and I do think when you focus on something, you tend to see more of it. And I think maybe, but ever since my brother died from dope, my eyes have been open. They've been pinned open. But I see it everywhere I go. You see it every gas station. You go on Facebook, you go in the Facebook groups, you see death all the time. But even in your own regular news feed with just the friends you went to school with, you're seeing an overdose every week. And that's somebody being robbed of time with their loved ones. That's not what God wants.
Well, when
No.
you're comparing this to a war, an actual casualties of war, when they're comparing the deaths over a period of a year's time, that's very sad. That's definitely something saying, if we don't change people, okay, your kids aren't safe.
That's
Your
right.
loved ones are not safe.
Mhm.
Eventually, it's going to hit the politician's kid. It already has.
It has.
It's going
It
to hit
has.
the policeman's child, the fireman,
No one's
the
safe.
paramedics.
All social
Doesn't
classes,
discriminate.
all
Skin
races,
color,
all areas of the country.
your bankroll,
Yeah.
what you got in the bank, where you live, none of it matters.
That's right.
And that's the thing. This is about uniting people. Stomp the epidemic is about people realizing they don't need drugs to be happy. In fact, they'll be a whole lot happier without drugs.
That's
They
right.
need love, they need compassion, they need to come together with people, and we all need to become one.
Old school morals, okay, we grew up with them. And our children can certainly grow up with them as well and
That's
pass
right.
it on down to their kids. That's what we got to be doing.
That's right.
We got to, one person at a time, we change.
That's the biggest thing that changed me, Hig. I mean, having children gave me a whole new outlook on the world. And when I know what I do today is going to affect my kid tomorrow.
That's right.
And honestly, I'm not comfortable sitting back and watching this world fall apart and not getting together and unifying good people and making a difference.
That's
because
right.
we can make a huge difference if we stand together.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Ultimately, hey, God, we maybe have some ideas on this, but we want to eventually, my son came up with this idea about opening a place to help. Well, you tell
The
me.
biggest thing this is my problem, Hig. I watched my brother, okay, who told me that, heroin, being addicted to heroin was the same as a demon living in his body.
That's
He'd
right.
say he would never be able to get longer than a 15 or 30-day program is what his insurance would cover. And he said, about after 30 days, you come home and all you're thinking about is, man, how high am I going to get now that my tolerance is down?
Right.
So your mind's nowhere near healed, but your body actually is.
Right.
Your body doesn't have that tolerance anymore.
We got to empower them with tools to fight through those cravings.
Amen.
The
We need the
change their
resources,
thought patterns.
We need the resources. And what me and my dad have been, our true dream is to open a big rehab facility one day, hopefully funded by this music, where we could take 15 or 20 people. And this isn't your typical rehab. I want this to be something special with the highest success rate you could ever imagine because of all the love and spirituality that's put in it. And let people live there for a year who have been turned down for a long-term treatment. Take the people that were cast away.
Have to reprogram their brain.
That's right.
The brain doesn't reprogram, okay, after years and years of the abuse in a month or two.
You do 15, 20 years doing something, it ain't all gonna go back to, it's not, Humpty Dumpty ain't gonna be put back together again in 2 weeks.
That's right.
It's just impossible to think that. It's a new lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And for the people in the beginning, they need some of the people who've been through it or putting their arm out and putting it around their neck and letting them know, listen, I got your back. I'm here for you. We've walked those dark roads before. You don't need that no more.
So Ricky's comment was that there are 12 spiritual steps that are a solution, and I'm a member of a 12-step fellowship, and I believe that our answer is in spirituality, in working, steps of recovery, and the music that you guys have done so far, you've done everything on your phone, and you guys have gotten a phenomenal response. There's been nothing professionally done, so I'm committed to helping you guys put together an event and a music video. We'll have an event and a video shoot in one day in Schenectady this spring sometime, and hopefully we'll reach a large segment of the population that doesn't know what you're about, that needs to hear this message. It helps some people find a path to recovery.
That's it, Hig. And I want to say, like, when I showed up to that letter to a dope dealer video shoot, thing was is I told like 10 or 15 people. See, I used to have a bigger music buzz when I was younger, and I honestly deleted that channel and gave all that up and started going down this path. So that was at the beginning of all this. That was last May. We did letter to a dope dealer. And I didn't have a huge fan base or nothing. And I would have been happy if 10 guys showed up to that video shoot. We put it out there. We were having a video shoot at Central Park. And if you were standing with us, show up. And we showed up there, and the amount of people that I seen that stared me in the eye with pure empathy and compassion and love and let me know they had my back. It honestly, man, brought tears to my eyes, and it let me know I have a lot of people with me, a lot of people believing in me, and a lot of people that I can't let down.
That's right.
And I think God definitely works in mysterious ways, and the way this all kind of came together and happened, and the different people He's putting in my life, because there's new people just entering my world all the time now that are just blessings in disguise, and I'm forever thankful for that.
Absolutely.
You're one of them, Higgy.
Thank you. I got a lot of love and respect for you guys, and can't wait to meet you. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us? You guys have a message for anyone out there that's lost a loved one to addiction, and how you found your way through it, with in dealing with the hatred and the thoughts of violence? What encouragement can you give them?
Well, I have an acquaintance friend who's going through the initial stages of the anger and the sadness. You get overwhelmed. Yeah, all of a sudden you'll be angry, and then the next thing you'll be like just tremendously sad. I'm not going to sit here and candy coat and say it's going to be the same for everybody, because for me it took a couple years or more before I even lost the anger. I I had a pretty healthy dose of anger going on, but now I honestly can say I have forgiven the people that had something to do with my son's demise. I truly have forgiven them. I think I did it for myself. I had to do that for myself. I had to forgive them. And I'm at a point now where I truly have forgiven them. My prayers go out to any mother, father, grandparent that has to lose a son or a daughter or a grandchild, or a husband has to, a wife has to lose a husband. Anybody, my prayers are with you. I truly am. I'll be thinking of you every night, saying a prayer for everybody in general.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you for that. Thank you, sir.
From my heart, I would like to say, listen, the dark roads I've walked and everything I've encountered, it's hard to speak to all of it. It honestly is. And I wish I could. I can't tell someone else's story. I can only tell my own. But if I can change, you can change.
Amen.
And to anybody that has experienced the loss of a loved one, see, this addiction stuff, I do believe a lot of it's genetic and environmental too. So chances are the siblings, they grew up in that same house, so they have a lot of the same pain. Their their sibling that they lost had. And I just want to say, if you start going down that dark road like I did, trying to polish a bottle of whiskey a day to survive and numb myself, to kind of escape reality for a little bit, it'll catch up with you eventually. And
It'll
to
ruin your life.
anybody that needs comfort, just to know that somebody else cares. Sometimes strangers care. Just to know that there are people that are standing behind you. If you need to reach out, if you want to reach out to us, I mean, we're honestly, like I said before, my story is no more important than yours is. And I'm nobody special. I just happen to be making some music right now with my dad. And prayers were said before every song that somehow the words would spark a change in somebody who needed it at the time. And I fully believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, and I believe that he could work through people, and he could work through all of us together if we stand together on this.
That's right.
But we're going to make some big changes. Don't let your loved one's memory go. Don't let it be swept under the rug. Make people know who their name is. Say their name a lot. Don't forget about them.
That's right.
Remember the good times.
Amen. So let's put it out there right now. You guys are open to collaborations. Anybody that wants to do music with you that has a similar message, you guys are open to collaborating?
Absolutely. Collaboration. Absolutely. Very open to that.
There's some things I wanted to say in the beginning I didn't get a chance to. I do want to. I'm not really a public speaker. This is actually my first live thing.
Very first live. I'm honored to have you.
Thank you. I had to rise to the occasion.
You did it. You've done well.
I'm doing it because it needs to be done. And like I said, I got people standing with me, and I can't let them down right now. But there's a lot of people on the front lines of this stuff, and I want to pay homage to some of the names if I could.
Go ahead.
I want to say, big shout out of respect to Kalichi. He's certainly a light worker, and he's doing amazing things for people. I want to say thank you to Rich Walters for what he does and the way he inspires people. Chandra Lynn, thank you to what she does.
One heck of a poet.
Yes.
You, Higgy.
Thank you.
There's just so many people that are doing things in their own way, and there's so many different ways we could go about this. As long as we're going about it, I think ultimately.
Fat Pat.
If I left anybody out, I am so sorry.
Vinny Kane, Gambo. I mean, there's been a lot of people over that.
If you feel like you could do a collab with us and it would really spread some awareness and spread some hope, then we're definitely open to it. Shout out to Joe Nestor. He just made a beautiful song. I loved it. The suicide prevention song. That was amazing.
Amazing.
It's just so many people, too many to list.
Yeah.
Too many to list.
Just behind the scene, just everybody has a part of it,
Darren Schultz, man, I see you motivating people. And once you take on the responsibility of spreading hope and spreading light, it becomes a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And the way I see some of you guys shining lights, man, it's just, it's such a beautiful thing.
Shout out
bottom of my heart, man.
Everybody watching this video.
Angela Herman, Laura Nolan. That's my own personal shout outs. They've been behind us from day one,
You're gonna have a lot of people join in the ranks to stand with you through this process. And
we will be there 100% for everybody. I hope to be able to travel and get to meet each and every one.
Higgy, we don't have no fans. When anybody ever said, hey, you got a lot of fans, you got a lot of supporters, listen, these are not fans, these are not supporters, these are soldiers, these are brothers, these are sisters. These are people that are standing with two guys that
don't have fans.
We're starting from the bottom with this hope, and we're just trying to shine the biggest candle we can and lighten up the room. And there's so many people with us. It honestly, it fires up my soul.
That's right. So everybody watching this video right now, if you would please share this with the hashtag Stop the Epidemic with your area code so we know where you're from. And if you want to be a part of this movement, we are in the middle, in the beginning stages, I should say, of this recovery movement of spreading hope, awareness, shining light on this. You know, we refuse to be silent in this deal. We need more people to come out of the shadows to stand up and speak out. So hashtag stop the epidemic. Let's get some support behind what these guys are doing. No more heroin supports you guys. Higgy supports you guys.
We support you.
No,
Strongly.
my recovery page, Redemption Road, supports you as well. Whatever you need from me, you let me know. I'll do the best I can.
God bless you, Higgy.
It's been an honor to have you guys. Sorry
Guys,
about the broadcast in the beginning.
Oh,
Something's going on. I
We're
don't know.
honored to be here.
You know, the devil's always working. The devil's always working.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you, whenever you're close to a blessing, and I've noticed this in my own life, whenever you are close to doing something really good, you got to watch it because things will just tend to go wrong. That's just the devil trying to get in your mind and ruin a good thing. You got to keep your faith strong and fight through it, fight through the tough times, and trust me, you will get there. And you will have your blessings. I can't even count all mine. There's so many now, and it wasn't until I started noticing.
We're on this path together. I'm willing to soldier up with you guys. Let's rock this out. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate the prayers in the beginning. I got much love and respect for you guys. Peace.
God bless you abundantly.
Good night. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.